Well, hello, hustler. Welcome to another episode of the Wellness Hustle. I'm Britt Tincup. I'm a creative designer, a serial entrepreneur who lived with chronic stress that had me testing every health and fitness tip and trick that would make me feel like myself again. And I'm joined by my co-host, Sasha Fisher, an ex-pro athlete, personal trainer, and nutritional therapy practitioner with years of experience helping high-achieving individuals to reach their health and fitness goals. We're here to redefine what wellness means, simplifying health, fitness, and self-care, empowering you to fuel ambition and embrace wellness, because we believe that hustle isn't a bad word. When applied properly, it's a superpower. Now let's jump in.
Welcome back to the Wellness Hustle. Thank you for tuning in our third episode. If you are in a place where you're trying to play with your nutrition, if you are trying to start new year with maybe healthier choices, this is the episode for you.
Yeah, I think I personally don't believe in diets. So for me, it's like, how are you going to make like sustainable change in your nutrition in order to support your lifestyle? I know everybody really loves the new year, like starting off, everybody does dry January, all these different things. So it's like,
but how do we make it stick?
Yeah, how do you make it stick? And so we wanted to share those things with you. I have a lot of questions for Sasha.
So we want to talk to you about the food journal and debunking the myth about the food journal.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to ask Britt, when I say food journal, what does that make you think and feel?
Makes me mad right out the gate.
No.
We've talked about my aggression issues on this podcast. No, it genuinely makes me angry. Like, I don't want to do it. It makes me
Why?
Because it's too time consuming.
Okay.
And I feel like every time I'm supposed to track my food, it's like, download my fitness pal. And I don't want to scan in everything. And a lot of the things I eat don't have something that I can scan. Like
to create the item and all of the things.
It's a nightmare. And I don't have time. I just genuinely, like, I'm getting angry talking about it, but I just like genuinely don't have time to like give these detailed explanations of everything I put into my meal. Like, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. And I think it's majority of us, honestly. But I've been working with a lot of people over the years, and the first thing I need to ask them to do is do the food journal. And I know Britt's gonna ask me why.
I know. I'm like, why are you
hating on us like that? Why?
I literally just side-eyed her so hard. For those of you who can't see the video, I'm like, I don't know about that.
No.
Okay, so like, why do I have to do it?
Okay, so I cannot help you if I don't know where you are. I need to see physically, what are you eating? What are you drinking? How are you feeling your life? You know, like it's impossible for me to help anybody, because where do we start?
That's a great point, actually. Like,
where do we start?
Where do you start? Because
you don't know where you are. You need to know where you are to be able to start and fix things or replace things or add things, or, you know, you don't know where to start if you don't know where you are. That's number one. Number two, it's honest feedback to you, because I can't tell you how many times I had a client telling me in the first initial consultation, oh, I eat so many vegetables. Like, I eat so many vegetables.
That's probably me.
And I get the food and mood journal from them, and there's like maybe carrots somewhere, and then there may be like mushrooms on their pizza. I'm like, where are all their beloved vegetables?
Oh my God, I have the funniest story for you. So my ex-husband, genuinely, we would get in arguments because he was like, pizza is healthy for you.
Yeah.
And he was like, it has all of the food groups. And I was like, it literally is not healthy for you. Like, pizza cannot, like, it's not healthy for you. You have so much cheese. Like, just because you have 3 mushrooms on that slice of pizza doesn't make it healthy.
There's 5 pounds of dough, and then there's 1 said mushroom.
And like a bunch of processed cheese. That's like, what not, like, where did that meat even come from? I don't know. And don't get me wrong, pizza is one of my favorite foods.
Pizza is hands down my favorite food.
Like,
but it has to be a right pizza.
Yeah.
I get little snobby about my pizza. I make my own. So there's that side note.
So you're talking to us about like why we need it. And I heard you say, you said food and mood journal. So
Right.
talk to me about that second piece.
Because we know that nutrition greatly impact our mental state. There's been numbers of studies now. We know that gut is our second brain.
Yeah.
Whatever we put in our body will affect our energy levels, our mood levels. Um, it's just you can't get away from that. And for me to see food and mood journal, this is how we identify what's serving you and what's not serving you when it comes to nutrition. So you will see direct correlation between what you ate, what time you ate, how fast you ate, what were you doing
Yeah.
when you were eating, and your later energy levels. Did you have any digestive issues?
Yeah.
Were you crabby? Did you get hungry? There's so many things you learn when you are actually doing the food and mood journal. It's not just, oh, I ate this, and there's no other things that will be I need to see your mood as well.
Yeah.
That way I can help you.
I love this so much because this goes back to our very first podcast when we were talking about the 4 key elements of a wellness hustler. And
Yep.
we talked about the gut and the brain
Mhm.
connection. And that's essentially what you're telling me here. You're going to put food in your body, and I need to know how it impacts your gut. And the way that I'm going to know that is through your mood.
Your mood, yes. And
And
remember, it's bio individual,
yeah,
people. Bio individual. Yeah. So whatever works for your friend might not work for you, because a lot of people now, it's going to be January. Everybody's going to start jumping on the next best thing,
no, don't
which
do
was
that.
as a keto, or keto worked for Stacy. I'm going to do this. Well, you are not Stacy. You're a different person.
Right.
So it's not necessarily you want to try what worked for that person. You
So
need to find your own thing. And by
yes.
doing that, you need to do your food and mood journal.
Yeah, and I know I'm getting in trouble right now. Like I'm thinking about the food and mood journal. But I also like the bio individuality. So it's interesting because my dad and I can eat exactly the same and we feel the best when we eat. So it's like really a lot of red meat because I
Mm-hmm.
have an iron deficiency.
Yep.
And then and we both like strength train very heavy.
Yep.
And so like my dad and I eat really similarly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my mom has a condition called hemochromatosis where she essentially like has too much iron in her system and she can't
Okay.
like process it properly.
Mm-hmm.
So she can't eat what we eat. Like she has to almost eat opposite of what we eat, where she's eating like a lot of poultry and a lot of like fish
Mm-hmm.
and can't have a lot of like high iron. What is fascinating about that, to go to the food and mood journal and just use like a little story around it,
Mm-hmm.
my mom will start to feel really sluggish, and like a lot of her symptoms that show that she's has like high levels of iron in her blood, she'll be
Mm-hmm.
like really lethargic, she'll be really sluggish, like her joints will start hurting her, like
Mm-hmm.
all these different things will start happening to my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll look at the week and we will have had like all of my dad and my favorite meals,
Yep.
and it's like, oh no, that's not gonna work. Like so then we like try to adjust it. So we're in the process of trying to figure out like how we can eat together as a family that
Yeah.
doesn't hurt
And a lot
somebody.
of times, you have that in the family. I have it like it's just my husband and I, but we don't eat exactly same meal sometimes. And the way you guys can do it, you can maybe cook different proteins, but
Yeah.
same side dishes, because since like the side dishes would work for your mom and you
Yeah.
and your dad, but maybe you guys will grill the steak and mom can grill the chicken, right?
Yeah.
So that way, or fish. So that way you don't feel like you have to cook so many different meals. You just swap the proteins.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. I love that. Actually, I love that advice. So back to the food and mood
Yep.
journal. Sorry, I'm like the queen of getting sidetracked. How do we make it like,
Easy.
if I'm gonna do this,
Mhm.
how do we make it like easy and attainable? Because I'm not doing it like I'll do hard things, but I'm not. This seems like a waste of my time. So like, how do we? I mean,
Yep.
you're making me feel like it's not. So like, how do I do it?
How we do it easy. Yes.
Easy.
And this is what I teach my clients. First of all, we need to just take this as I always say nutrition is art, it's not math. So when you start counting points, calories, macros, I'm getting a headache just to talk
I'm not
about
doing that.
this. I'm not doing this, and most people don't want to do it unless I have like an engineer client who is math oriented, then knock yourself out, do it. But majority of us don't want to deal with it.
No.
So what I teach people, first thing, just take a picture of what you eat. Just take a picture of it. Your phone is so smart now. That's why I call them smartphone. It's gonna record the time where you took when you took this picture. So you
Okay.
already know what time you ate that meal, and you're gonna see the picture what you ate. So imagine your day. You just wake up. You take pictures of everything you drink and everything you eat that day.
Okay.
And later in the day, just take 3 minutes. That's all you're gonna need.
Yeah.
5 minutes. You have your little notebook somewhere in the kitchen when the kids are sleeping, or whatever you have a quiet time. Take 3 minutes, scroll through your phone, and write like I woke up, say 6:30 a.m. I had water. So just kind of go through your day
Mm.
and write down in your notepad like all of the pictures, time and what you ate. And just do your best. Be like chicken breast or half a chicken breast, or I had, say, stew with beef, that kind of thing. And just write everything down. Say if your kid ate something and you finished it off, you got to take a picture of it. So you remember.
Yeah.
If that
Okay.
makes sense. So like just everything you eat, you eat a protein bar, just take a picture of that. So then it's going to be time. So you scroll through it, you write everything down, what you ate, and go to the next day. Another thing, so we want to talk about food, but also mood. How do you record that? And you record that by you have notes on your phone. So
Mm.
basically, you just have to be in tune. You have to be present that day.
Mm.
So when you wake up, you go to your notes and you just leave a note. I woke up at this time and I feel energized, or I feel sluggish, or I have like a brain fog, or whatever it is.
Mm.
Whatever you feel, just leave a note. And then check with yourself throughout the day and leave notes. So then the notes are going to have time again.
Yeah.
And you can, when whatever you're going through the pictures, the next step, you just go through your notes that evening and you put everything time again, and you write in between the food, you write your mood, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah.
And then also very important, obviously, what you're drinking, that's together with food. And also how much you slept, and if there's any like movement, if you worked out, if you went out,
Got it.
outside for a walk, if you lift weights, if you were playing with the kids in the snow, whatever.
Okay. Okay, so let's say I'm doing this for today, for example. Went down to the kitchen, did my routine, which is honestly the only thing that gets me through even getting out of bed. I did my routine, did end up having a protein shake, went to the gym. So I would be taking a photo. Am I taking a photo of like, I have these like Juna drops that I put in. They're like these detox chlorophyll drops that I put into my water. Like, am I taking a photo of that?
Yeah,
Okay.
everything.
So I'm taking a
So you
photo
don't
of
forget, because
everything.
you're gonna have to write down in the evening what you did.
Okay.
So this is just kind of a help to yourself and saving some time, because when you take time to write down, sitting down, it's longer, but taking pictures fast.
Right.
So then in the evening, when you sit down and scroll through your phone, instead of scrolling through IG, you can scroll through your food and
for
mood
real.
pictures and take that time and actually do something, practical for yourself.
Yeah. I do like that actually. And I like the idea of like recording my mood. I feel like at the end of the day, I could recall my mood throughout the day too. So like, cause we talk about individuality. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
that like applies to even how you're going to take something and use it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were to just set an alarm, cause I forget things. So like, I'm thinking like, okay, my mood is probably something that I would forget, but I would easily take a photo of every single thing that I put into
Mm-hmm.
my body. So like maybe setting an alarm for myself.
Correct. Yes.
Like 3 times a day of like, how do I
Exactly.
feel?
To check with yourself.
Okay.
But also, I think you're gonna know if you're bloated, uncomfortable. Also, I think you're gonna know if you have a headache. Also, you're gonna feel if you get hangry. You're gonna
Yeah.
know. So kind of think about things that usually happens to you, so then you're more in tune when it does. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? Before you start, you're like, okay, sometimes I get hangry, sometimes I get a headache. So then you're more like your body is gonna remember for you to actually record that.
Okay. Okay. So that is helpful.
Another thing that I really wanted to touch on before I forget is that very important to do 2 days for your week of food and mood journal and 2 weekends, because we eat completely
Oh,
different during the week and compared to weekend, most people,
yeah.
especially if you have the typical schedule when you 9 to 5, right? And then
Yep.
you're off on the weekend. Or say if you're a nurse, then or somebody like a nurse who's got an odd schedule, then you want to do 2 days of working and 2 days off.
Okay. Okay. That's really good feedback. I also, just out of curiosity, like, do you find a common link between, like, if you're looking at a food journal, right? A
Mhm.
food and mood journal, do you find like a common link between a specific mood? Like, if somebody is feeling a lot of anxiety, is
Yes.
there a food that you consistently see on that?
Yeah, sugars and carbs.
Yeah. I was
Yes.
wondering if that was going to be your answer.
Right. And also people who tend to snack a lot get hangry pretty quick. And it's a sign of people really relying on carbohydrates for
Mm.
the energy.
Oh.
So when you're so used to snacking, and a lot of snacks are like crackers, like a lot of carbs for the most part for most people, then your body is looking for that quick sugar. So when you're not
Mm.
getting it, then you're getting hangry, shaky. So it's a sign of blood sugar dysregulation, like your blood sugar is dropping. So you're
Yeah.
getting hangry. So then you need to eat some things. Yes.
Okay, you just brought up a very hot topic in my life. I have the shakiest hands you've ever seen in your life, to the point, and like some days it's worse than others,
Mm.
to the point where I actually can't record videos very well because my hands are so shaky. And I am curious. So you just said shaky hands, blood sugar
Mm-hmm.
regulation. I know you and I have talked about, like, off camera, that
Yep.
like I have blood sugar issues. So
Yeah. I did too for the longest time until I started to learn about it and applying it to myself and figuring it out how to balance it. Yeah.
what is a way to, like, fix that if I tell you, like, you see on my chart that my hands are really shaky and, like,
Well, it could be two things comes to mind right away. It's either too much caffeine could do that to you,
okay,
and it could be too much sugar also. So those two things, you're either doing too much caffeine without substance, like without offsetting it with fat and protein. Same with
got it.
sugars. So anytime you want to balance your blood sugar, you want to add protein and good fat.
Okay.
So, and fiber also. So you can try to get a fiber supplement
Okay.
and drink that when you
Okay.
get shaky. That could help. Also grabbing something proteins,
Okay.
like I would suggest without any carb at
Okay.
that point. Like I don't know how you feel about sardines. Like
Not
sardines,
great.
not great, but
No.
some people love. I love sardines, so sometimes I have like sardines with salad, or say like boiled eggs,
I
or
want to like sardines so badly,
I
but
know
it's
I
when
get
I
it.
open the can, I'm like,
Oh,
"Ugh."
it doesn't smell great. It does not smell
I was
great.
feeding my dog sardines and
Sardines.
she loves them.
Oh yeah.
But I one time opened the can and spilled it on myself and I was
Oh
like,
God,
"Oh,
no. Oh God,
no."
no.
Yeah, so
But she loved you for the rest of the day, I'm sure.
I'm her favorite person,
Yeah.
obviously. Look at how perfect she is.
She's so perfect. She's here in the studio with us, and she's the best.
She's an angel. Okay, so sardines, like, you like to add sardines into things. Why
Well,
sardines?
they're high in omega-3.
Okay.
They're really rich in nutrients, high in protein. So
Okay.
they're anti-inflammatory food. Another thing you can do if you absolutely hate sardines, no big deal. We can have pasture-raised boiled eggs. Or if
Okay.
you have a neighbor with chickens, that would be the best. I
Okay.
would absolutely love on that neighbor. I would be the best friend with that neighbor.
Yeah.
And I would do anything to get those
Hey
eggs.
neighbors, if you're listening,
If you're
who
listening,
has chickens?
we want those eggs.
It's so true. There's like so many places too that you can get, like, the print company that I use here in town. They sell their eggs at the, like, in the front of their little print shop.
Oh my God, we're going.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome too.
Because
So
those are the best eggs you can ever have. So those boiled eggs you can have in the refrigerator, a quick little snack, and I think you're gonna give it of your jitters pretty quick.
okay, and now if I wake up that way, does that mean that my jitters are coming from the day before? Like, how does that work? Because sometimes I'll wake up and my hands are so shaky.
Yeah, I think that's from the day before.
Okay.
You probably overdid on sugar or alcohol.
Okay.
You probably did not sleep as
Yeah, no, I
well and
usually.
as deep.
Okay.
Your body is still trying to process all of it. So, in that way, I would suggest probably eat something as soon as you get up.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's interesting because I had shaky hands this morning and I had a protein shake
Mm-hmm.
before the gym, which I normally don't do. I
Mm-hmm.
normally fast before I work out, only because I'm not hungry for breakfast in the
Yeah, me
morning.
neither. But sometimes I am, so you're gonna have to listen to your body, and you did today, so that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a good, good thing you did that. Mhm.
So if we're starting with this food and mood journal, because you just said listening to your body.
Mhm.
So, I obviously have this data about myself that I like have had, and I've had this issue since I was a kid. So with the shaky hands and all of that. And like I've had
Mhm.
hormonal issues throughout my life. And we know that like blood sugar can be linked to hormonal issues as well.
Absolutely. If you're not balancing your blood sugar, you cannot balance the rest of your hormones because it's all tied together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And hormones are like things like cortisol, which is going to increase or decrease your anxiety levels. Is that correct?
Correct.
So I lost my train of thought entirely. I was going somewhere with this. There was a breakfast thing happening. And now it's gone right out the fucking window.
Hold on. So we had the protein shake. You're sometimes not hungry, but sometimes you're hungry. And
Oh, you're
sometimes,
listening to your body. So you're
yes.
basically what you're telling me about this food and mood journal that you want me to do. And I
Hmm.
think I'm going to do it. Honestly, like I really do think I'm going to do it because as we're having this conversation, even since we recorded the last podcast, I was like, I need to pay closer attention to what my actual plate looks like and visually, like, is
Hmm.
it art? And so I've been trying to get at least 3 different colors on my plate, ideally, like not counting white as one of them. Right. So
Okay.
like if I'm
Yeah.
doing Greek yogurt, like I know that's still a very healthy thing, but I'm like, okay, how can I make that piece more colorful? So I've been doing like blueberries and kiwi
Yep.
and a little bit of cinnamon. And I'm like, okay,
Yep.
that's a pretty dish. Like I like that.
Yeah.
Hard boiled eggs are another thing I've been bringing in. And I do them like soft boiled. So they're like yummy and yolky on the
Yes.
inside.
Amazing.
They're pre done. I put them over arugula.
Same. You speaking my language. I love arugula. There's nothing better than arugula and boiled eggs.
So good.
Amazing.
A little
So good.
olive oil.
Little olive oil. If you want a little balsamic, also would be yummy. And you can also cut little baby tomatoes on the side.
Did you just say balsamic on there?
Yeah.
That is speaking my language.
Yeah. So good.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm
So
going to do
good.
that next. Today I did everything but the bagel seasoning and salt and pepper,
Uh
olive oil,
huh.
arugula, and the soft boiled eggs.
Yep.
And wow, amazing. Okay. So, and I do have to say that I did wake up in a shitty mood. And after that meal, I did feel better. It
Yeah.
took a little while,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm not feeling like I want to gouge my own eyes out right now.
Correct. Because you balanced your blood sugar.
Yeah.
So you're more even in your way of being.
Right.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And then being able to see, again, obviously I'm taking account of this because we're talking about a food and mood journal, but
Mhm.
had I taken a photo of that, which I think I did because it was so pretty, but then noticing my mood as we're sitting here, I'm like, oh no, this is exactly the whole point of the food and mood journal, is to actually understand, because I think I do that in some regards, but I only do it in a negative aspect. So I will know I had sugar and alcohol this weekend and I feel like a shitty person today,
Mhm.
and it's Monday. So like I'm coming off of an intense weekend of
Mhm.
eating poorly, and I can tell you that my mood is bad.
But also you corrected it this morning. You had the right nutrition that worked.
Right.
So just yeah, it gives you instant feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
love
you
that.
you can have the visual and see what's happening. Yeah.
Do you have people who like actually do a food and mood journal for longer than the 2 work days and 2 off days?
No, I see what I see, and that's enough for days. Is you can see the patterns, you can see what they're eating, and then usually we just go through it together,
Okay.
and then we come up with a plan, and we see what we can change, what needs to be changed, what can stay, and we kind of take small or big steps, whichever that person is comfortable with,
Okay.
and then I see them next month, and we
Okay.
see how it's working, and then we do another one.
Okay.
So it's kind of like you do it once, you make changes, you kind of live with that, and then in a month you'll do another one.
I also feel like if you've done it and you become like thoughtful about it, kind of what we were just talking about,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm now thinking of the times I've had the food that I've had. So maybe it becomes more, the way that you eat becomes more intentional and you start to notice your mood without having to track it.
Very true. Yes.
I like that.
Yes. But then if you're someone who never really, really did anything about nutrition, you just grew up a certain way and you've been eating it like that, and you're trying to clean it up now, that could be a big, overwhelming thing. And you
Yeah.
can't change everything at the same time. So then that's where it comes to play to do it every month. You change 2 things, you see how you feel, you get feedback from your food and mood, and then you are ready to change more, or you see if this is working, maybe this is not working. Again, bio individuality.
Right.
And you kind of go from there, but you don't have to do it whole month. Like, like some apps want you to track it every day. I think 4 days is enough. And then you kind of try to make the changes that you decide you're going to do with your coach or by yourself. And then next month you reevaluate and see where you are. First of all, did your habits change? Is it better now? And because of your habits change, did your mood change?
Yeah.
So you have the feedback, and also you're ready for the next step.
I love this so much, actually, because as you're talking about this, I'm like, when you look at we talked about this in the first episode too. It's like, people can get so fixated, and especially like if somebody is already interested in a diet, like you can create like really bad, or like changing their nutrition, you can create really like almost dangerous habits in the opposite direction of becoming too fixated on your meal planning and your like, and it almost creates kind of a toxic environment to like go so extreme. And 2 things will happen in that. It creates essentially like an eating disorder.
It can, yeah.
Or it can create like burnout really quickly.
Very much so. If you're tracking every day, my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if you're saying like, you're looking at something, you're saying, okay, we took 4 days of the week, 2 different types of days. And then we looked at that data and then we said, okay, you go off and try to figure this out for yourself for the next month. Because essentially, like I've been in situations where I try to change things immediately and I'm only looking at a week, but then it doesn't become sustainable for me.
Right. It won't.
Because I've created somebody else's wellness routine or their own nutritional plan.
It's so not natural.
Yeah. And it doesn't come naturally to me. Like I was just listening to something recently, and the person who was talking about how they are really like a master griller. Like they love the grill. So they just like embrace the grill. They're like, everything I make, I try to make on the grill because I know that that's what works for me. They live in a climate that they can do that. We do not live in a climate that we can do that. So it's like,
no.
Okay. So my diet changes between the summer and the winter months because I can't grill anymore. And I do love to grill. Like I prefer grilling. So it's like, okay, so what is this? When you're giving yourself, my point is that when you're giving yourself 4 weeks to kind of create a routine for yourself around these habits that you've been educated on about your own diet, you can really create lasting results.
Correct. And also to your point, yes, we can't eat the same, but neither should we, because you should eat local, seasonal, right?
Yeah.
So whatever is seasonal now, you're cooking in a different way. And when it's colder outside, you want a warmer meal.
Yeah.
When it's hot outside, you want a cooler meal. So our things should change.
Yeah.
And we need different nutrients throughout the year.
Yeah.
So we need more fermented food throughout the winter, and that's how usually people eat in colder climates, right? Because we couldn't preserve back in the day, say vegetables, right? We didn't have the refrigerator, so we were fermenting stuff, and that's where all the good gut bacteria comes in the winter when we really need it, right? From the fermented foods.
Also, you're not getting any vitamin D in the winter in some areas. Like right now, especially today, it's like super cloudy, and like vitamin D is the happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Cause I'm like,
yes. If you don't have enough D, yes. If you no, it's a thing, especially people who live in, really, really cloudy environments.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's difficult. So
you have SAD disorder, seasonal affective disorder. It's actually a thing.
I had that living in Minnesota. I definitely had that living in Minnesota. That's why we moved to San Marino. Like that was one of the reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it makes sense. And you think about like, I always go back to the caveman concept. Like when we were cavemen,
you and I, we were for sure.
Like I was absolutely a caveman. What do you mean?
Totally.
I might still be. I don't know. But like, how were they eating? So like every time I think about like what I'm going to put in my body, I'm like, would a caveman have access to this thing?
But majority they wouldn't. But you really do need to think about real food.
Yeah. Well, and that's
Bottom
really what
line,
it is. It's
yeah,
like, can I
yeah.
grow this or can I hunt this? Like, can
Mhm.
I hunt or can I gather this? And if I can't hunt or gather it,
Right.
like it needs to have a smaller proportion in my diet. And then to your point, when you look
Mhm.
at the seasons of things, it's like certain things
Yes,
grow at certain times of the year
exactly.
for a reason.
For a reason. Yeah.
Eat those things.
Eat those things during the season. Yeah. Try to shop local farmers markets if you can where you are.
Yeah.
Definitely. And eat a lot of fermented food in the winter for sure.
Where are your favorite local places to shop for our Reno, Sierra Nevada people?
Well, in the summer, I drive to Tahoe Market every Thursday.
Okay, that's
I'm
fun.
there every Thursday, and my Thursday is my adventure day. So I pack up my dog, my cooler. We go to Tahoe for a hike. We go to get all our stuff, put in the cooler, and that's our adventure day because I work on the weekends. So Thursday is usually in the summer my day off.
Yeah.
So that's what we do in the summer. In the winter, it's hard. I'm not gonna lie. So I
Yeah.
kind of rely on what Whole Foods will have,
Okay.
and that's basically where I go. Like I just kind of switch shopping to Whole Foods in the winter, but in the summer, I definitely go to the locals farmers market.
Okay, so I think it's safe to say that I will be food and mood journaling.
Good,
You've convinced me. I'm going to give it a go and see.
and we can look at it together.
I would
It's gonna
love
be
to
so
do
much
that.
fun.
I'm also a little bit scared to do that, but
No,
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 it's going to be good.
no. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be honest feedback, and then it's gonna be exciting because you can change some things and make it better for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do I change the way that I'm eating when I'm doing my food and mood journal? This just occurred to me because
Oh,
I'm
this
like,
is
who's
so
just
funny.
manipulating? Do you have clients that manipulate their
Oh,
food
I
journal?
always say that, girl, if you're gonna start eating good now, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to help you because you're not honest.
Yeah.
If I'm seeing you now, oh, grilled chicken with arugula and olive oil, and I'm like, well, there's a problem here. You're eating like this and you still don't have any energy. We gotta go see a doctor,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So we need to be honest with
Yeah.
ourselves and our coaches so we can really see what's happening now. And yeah, and some people want to start right away. Oh, I want to eat well. I want to start. I want to clean up. I'm like, well, yeah, but we can because we need to know where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. So I have another question for you that just occurred to me, and we'll
Mhm.
start to wrap up after this. But so for those of our listeners and myself too, for being honest, the drinking now, cannabis is also something that people partake in because it's legal in most states. So
Okay.
obviously when you drink, and what I find with drinking mostly is I get more emotional, so I actually don't love to be drinking a ton of alcohol, but every once in a while I'll smoke weed. I do get the munchies.
Mhm.
So are you having people note when they're like when they drink? Because okay, the reason I'm asking this is because weed is new, right? Like everybody's
Yes.
like, okay, now it's new and legal, you have access to it,
Okay.
but we don't talk about it. We don't talk about how it impacts our nutrition. We don't talk about how it impacts our lives or anything like that. And obviously,
Mhm.
you and I don't have a lot of data on this because we haven't studied it. But
Right.
I think what I'm asking is like, is that something that you're interested in seeing on someone's mood and food journal of like, okay, I smoked weed at this time?
Mhm.
Because if you're drinking alcohol, like I know for some people when they drink alcohol, your inhibitions are different and like you eat different
You
things.
Yes, you're gonna start eating everything in their mothers.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. I've never tried weed,
Okay.
but I've heard from many people and I watched movies, comedy movies, where people start eating a lot after
Yeah.
they smoke weed. And to me, I think it would be important to know that somebody did that because otherwise, why did you eat here 5 bags of Doritos?
Yeah.
Right. So there should be.
No, it's like a real thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing. So it would be helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Good. So
Yeah.
note those things too.
Yeah. Do those
Noted
things
for
too.
me. No. Okay, so I'm gonna give this a go and like see. I like the idea of making a visual because I'm such a visual person. So like you've attracted me with that, and the idea of like my mood is so important to me because like we've established I have some aggression things. So like I like to make sure that I'm being the best that I can for everybody else in my life. So Sasha has a few goodies for you all, and I am really excited. I want her to tell you what they are. You get a gift and a giveaway.
Okay. All right. If you wanted to do your food and mood journal, I'm going to have a downloadable PDF file where you can download and see how you can track down your food and mood. So you're taking pictures, but then in the evening, you have to write it down somewhere. So it's going to make you more organized.
Love that.
So that's number one. And number two, for those who want to do it, you'll get 4 days, right? So you'll say, I don't know, Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday and Sunday type of deal. And then if you wanted some feedback from coach like me, then you can submit on social. You can post on social in your stories.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. And tag us,
Yeah.
Britt and I, in our podcast. And we're going to choose randomly 3 people who I'm going to have phone calls with. And we're going to go together through your food and mood journal. And we're going to figure out your next steps for the next month.
That's awesome. That's really, really cool. Honestly, that's really kind of you to do that. Can they post, does it need to be a picture of their food journal, or can they just repost that they listen to us and tag us? Okay.
Just repost. They can do the picture of our episode.
Okay.
Like take a cover, picture of our cover.
Yeah.
And just post it and tag us. And we're going to do.
And then you're going to pick.
We're going to pick randomly. Moon and Sage are going to pick.
Oh, Sage is ready. She just looked up like, what? All right. Well, on that note, we will see you all on Wednesday, where Sasha will talk to us about north to south nutrition, which
is exciting.
It's really exciting. And that was our very first coffee date. We talked about that, and I was like, whoa, she's brilliant. This is such a cool idea. I love it so much. I'm just not even going to tell you guys. I don't want you to tell them. Don't tell them anything about it. It's just a mystery.
Okay, I won't. Again, thank you guys for listening. Before you go, we have a small favor to us.
Yeah, if you guys enjoyed this episode of The Wellness Hustle, don't forget to download it, to follow or to subscribe, whichever app you're on, it depends. That helps us so much. That helps other people find us. So,
and please rate us 5-star if you think we're doing a great job. Leave us a quick review so we know what you guys like, what do you want to hear more of. Your support means a lot to us.
Yeah.
So the Wellness Hustle keeps growing. Yeah.
We will see you guys next time. Have a good week, and we'll talk to you on Wednesday.
See you.